What we have here is the 1952 Ferrari 340 America. Chassis 0202A is one of 24 built specifically for racing.
So young Enzo Ferrari, he was always around engineering, mechanics and fabrication. His father was a metal worker in Modena. He wanted to try his hand at motor racing as a driver, but it soon became apparent that his strength, his forte, was in team ownership. And before long, he started up his own enterprise in Maranello in Modena called Ferrari SPA back in 1947. But fundamentally, he started off as a racing concern, Scuderia Ferrari. He wanted to take part in the most significant motor racing events throughout the world and really make his name there.
Well, Ferrari first introduced the 340 America in 1951, and it was a great introduction because they wound up winning the most prestigious road race in the world, the Mille Miglia. Ferrari designed this car for both road racing and circuit racing. From the outside, you look at the proportions, the rake, the dimensions, the wheel arch, the door handles. They're fared into the side of the car. They don't stick out, so this is more aerodynamic. The windshield's glass, but the rest of the windows are plexiglass. Again, going back to the fact this is a racing car and you're saving weight.
It's clear that Enzo gave great attention to every single component, from the front bumper to the rear bumper, and that of course stretches on to race car production. And when we get into the 1952 running of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, something almost magical happened. Car 0202A was fielded by Italian immigrant Luigi Chinetti. Chinetti went to Enzo and said to him, "You give me sole rights to sell your cars in France and the United States, and I'll make a success of your company abroad." Well, as we get to the 1952 race, Enzo Ferrari's works cars failed to finish. But Luigi Chinetti's car, which featured two prominent French drivers, finished 5th overall. There's a very strong, inseparable bond that was formed because of the results of that car in the 52 running of Le Mans.
After Le Mans, Mr. Chinetti imported the car to the US, where it was sold to a privateer. The decision was made on the part of the owners that the most prudent course of action was to send the car back to Ferrari and their Ferrari Classiche department, so that when the car was restored to, as we see it today, the way it originally left the factory, it would be accompanied by the Ferrari Classiche certification book, or what's known as the Red Book.
Ferrari have the most meticulous records, handwritten records from their racing days from the 1950s and 1960s and onwards. Everything is stored there, and every detail of a car's manufacture is well documented. So when a customer takes a really special car back to Maranello, it can be restored to precisely the way it was produced in Maranello, in this case back in 1952.
The restoration process with a car such as this is very arduous from the standpoint of the details. And getting the details correct is so important to the enthusiasts, so that when they get in the car, it feels just like a 1952 racing Ferrari is supposed to feel. And Ferrari got it right with this car.
We always tend to think that the last great lost and found Ferrari supercar story has happened. But no, here's another one. Chassis 0202A has been found, it has been restored by Maranello, brought back meticulously to how it was made in 1952 when it was raced.
I think having a car of this magnitude at Mecum auctions, it further establishes the fact that they're one of the major auction houses that drives this market. I just feel tremendous enthusiasm for the day, and I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.